Good morning, America. It is I, Jay Sims, the Lion, and we are here Saturday morning for another episode of the Book of Man Saturday Conversation. And I want to send a big shout out. It's wintertime. All my winter wonderland lovers, all my snowman builders, all my Aspen for vacation goers, all my nighttime want to get outside and bundle up in the blanket lovers. It's your season, baby. For all the ladies out there looking for the teddy bear for the wintertime. It's your time. You got to find you somebody. It's cuddle season. Get into it. Get excited about it. It's the wintertime. Man, all the joy. Get you some hot cocoa. Bundle up and listen to your fellas over here at the Book of Man Saturday Conversation. Talk about what's going on in the world. What's going on, Doc? How you doing this morning, brother?
Man, what is happening, bro? Look, you talking about all this cold weather. You ain't talking to me. I'm in here, bro. I got my kerosene heat over there on, and I'm toasty up in this garage.
You ain't one of the winter wonderland warriors, man. You ain't out there with you ain't one of them Appalachian climbers out there when it get cold. You don't want to battle the snow and the elements. You know what I'm saying?
Man, the only thing I want to battle is this cool glass of iced tea. And I go outside and sit on my porch. That's it for me.
What you talking about? You don't want to go skiing? You know what I'm saying? Hit the giant slalom? None of that's cross country. None of that stuff.
I ain't gonna front. I do want to go skiing one time.
That's
Me and
it.
the wife gonna do that. I'm gonna go
Doc,
one time.
Doc, I'm giving them one. That's all I got for them.
But you know what it's not gonna be?
Well,
not at a timeshare.
We know that. Yeah, Doc, you just like me. They getting one good winter vacation out of me to some place where it's snowing or whatever. I'm gonna give them one because my kids done asked for it, so I'm gonna give them one. After that, they on their own. They can do it when they grown.
Okay, you get your own money, and you got like Steve Harvey said. It was Steve Harvey. You got to buy a coat from there. I can't get no Georgia coat and go skiing with it because it ain't gonna work. It ain't
gonna work right.
You got to get it from there.
That's my problem with the whole going on a ski trip. I'm gonna buy all these clothes and stuff and materials I'm never gonna use again.
Boy, you're gonna be burning up too. You try to bring that job. You know what? Don't take the tags off it.
just rock it for the week and take it back. It's got to be someplace you can go to rent that stuff because there's no reason for me. I'm like you say, I'm in Georgia.
Hey,
I don't have no reason to buy that thick winter coat stuff. What I'm gonna do? Wear it one day out of the year?
Sound like a business opportunity to me.
That is what it sounds like. Get yourself rent them winter wear. That's it. Just come for the week, get your little winter wear, get it back.
Okay, but y'all listen up. Before we get started, let me go ahead and tell y'all how to do this thing. If y'all want to interact with us, all you got to do is go ahead and drop a comment in the comment section of whatever live stream you're watching, whether it be Facebook or YouTube. We'll see it. We'll throw it up on the screen and we can talk about it. At a certain point in the show, maybe we might throw a link up there for y'all to come and jump on with us. So we'll see where that is. And we here every Saturday around about 11. Thursdays we got the book study, Where the Superior Man. You definitely want to be a part of that because that's some life-changing stuff right there. Oh, yeah. Friday, we're doing the nerd show. Saturday, we with Doc and the Lion, and we got a goal-setting mastermind. I think I'm gonna shift that to the middle of the week, but we'll see how that go. So we got some stuff, and we about to get into it.
Well, yeah, we got and listen, fellas, be a part of the goal-setting mastermind. It's 2023. We still in January. It's still early. Get a goal, write it down. Let's make some things happen. Let's build better people, better men this year. Add something to your toolbox, regardless of what it is. Add something to your toolbox. Let's build on ourselves. Let's make ourselves better.
There you go. So, all right, man. Let's go ahead and get this thing kicked off. You want to talk about the original one and then roll on to Mr. Wilson, or we gonna wrap them up into one? How you want to do this?
We can go either way. Let's start with the original one, then we'll go to Mr. Wilson. We know Mr. Wilson gonna hold us down.
Oh, for sure. And it's a good way to end the show.
Yeah.
So the topic today, scarred children and toxic masculinity. I posed the question, how can we prevent our children from being scarred for life?
Yep.
And you sent me a video about this.
Yeah.
And it was definitely something that sparked the conversation. So let me go ahead and throw it up. If we can watch the video right quick, and then we can talk about it. Let me add this to the screen here. Let's see if I can make this bigger, right? Let's see if we can. Yeah, buddy. Instagram
There
kind
it
of doing it. All right. So this young man right here is talking about what it was like for him growing up in a single mother household. So let's see what he got to say, and then we're going to talk about it. I may pause it so we can hit each little section, and then we'll wrap back around. So here it is. Y'all hear it?
No, I don't hear nothing, Doc.
Oh, you know why you don't? Because it's
security job. I
Here we go.
changed my life for myself. But when I was a teenager and I was running these streets, it's because this woman was too busy working and caring about herself. She didn't put me in no sports. She didn't put me in no after school programs. She didn't put me in nothing that was going to help my life. So I was running the streets with my gang, robbing people. You feel me? That's what hurt me. And that's what's hurting a lot of these kids getting raised by single mothers who think they know it all. She moved me from my dad.
All right, I'm going to pause it right there. Where you at on this?
Okay, first off, I want people to understand this is not a way to throw single mothers under the bus. That's not what's happening here. But this is to say there's a reason it's supposed to be two parents.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, somebody got to work and make money. In today's society, generally speaking, both parties got to work and make money. But it's so hard for one person to give a child everything it needs.
Right.
So even if you both working, you still, okay, maybe I got to get off early, or I got to go do this, and somebody got to split this off or whatever to make time for the children. It's no reason for a child to go through 18 years of life having never been involved in any type of extracurricular activities. That's like, how you gonna make a well-rounded human being?
Yeah, I'll say this, and I would agree. There are single mothers out there, and for one circumstance or another. And I think this stuff comes out because the loud people, the people that get all the attention, say things like, I can do it by myself. I don't need nobody. It's a number of them that spit that out. So everybody think all of them like that. And
Right.
I don't think that's the case. But in his specific example, he was talking about the fact that she was working all the time.
Yeah.
And she was thinking about herself. So she was working 4, 5, 6 days a week. And on the day she had off, she was going to do her thing.
Yeah.
He was left to himself.
Right.
And that's why I put in the title about us scarring our children. Because we think that hustle and that stuff we doing is making life better. But you're not improving anything if you're not being able to talk to your kids and pour into them.
I think as a society, not just single mothers, but just as a society total, because we kind of touched on this when we talked about Master P and all of them. We get so stuck on the provision and providing for our children, making sure they have clothes and shoes, which are absolutely necessary. But we tend to forget about the prepare and the guide and the teach and the tutelage part of parenting. It gets left to social media and television and whatever they pick up at school, which at this point we know half of what they're teaching at school, you might want your child to learn.
Oh boy. I'm laughing because, oh God goodness, it's some stuff there. And if you're not careful, everybody else gonna raise your child,
but you.
And then you're gonna be bailing them out of jail or visiting them at the cemetery later on.
That's right, because in my opinion, a lot of society does not have the best interest of your child in heart at all.
No.
So if you rely on the powers that be to raise your children, if you aren't making at least 30 minutes a day to spend one-on-one with your child, I need you to figure out a way. And I mean one-on-one, I mean put your phone down, turn the TVs off, and just have 15, 30 minutes where you actually talk to your child, not to mention any other interaction. I'm not saying instead of, I'm saying in addition to all the other interaction that you're going to have with your child.
So my boy Joe, oh man, this guy's a superstar. I'm telling you, Joe Pettit is about that business, saying a lot of good stuff. But he said, thank God for my mom. She raised me alone in a small town. She gave me so many things I wanted, but gave me everything I needed. Love, Jesus, safety, shelter, food, and clothing. But my mom sacrificed self for her child almost too much. And that's what we're
Yep.
talking about right there.
Yeah.
When
Gotta
you
be willing
have
to do
kids,
that.
it's not about you. It's never about you. When you have a kid, God has trusted you to raise a human being. What kind of human being are you going to raise? Are you going to raise somebody that goes out there and destroys the world? Or are you going to raise somebody that goes out there and improves the world?
And it starts with you as a parent. You have to, like you say, yeah, like Mr. Pettit just said, you have to be willing to make that sacrifice. You know, you're not going to be able to do all the stuff you want to do. You're not going to be able to party.
Now, Jamel said opposite. They are intentionally misguiding our children. Let's
Yes.
talk about that for a minute, because
It's true.
this is gonna be hot.
It's true. It's a lot of people. I don't know if it's intentionally as much as it is they don't have the tools to not misguide their children.
Man, okay. I have unique experience with this.
Yes, you do. We want to hear that point of view, sir.
I work in the school system. I teach kids. I've taught every grade from kindergarten to 8th grade for almost 2 decades now. And I'll tell you this. There are some parents that are misguided themselves. They have a skewed sense of morality, a skewed sense of right and wrong, and they teach their kids that. I'm gonna tell you a couple of examples. Number one, I never ever forget this. I was teaching 2nd grade, and the kids came up to me, 2nd graders now. You know, in 2nd grade, you like 7.
Right?
They say, Doc, you saw that movie Precious?
What? A second grader?
7 years old, and told me the play-by-play of the movie. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we had a conversation about going to jail. And this further supports my point. They say, Doc, you ever been to jail before? And I said, no, I don't plan on going to jail. These boys told me, yeah, I'm going to jail. I want to go to jail. My uncle in jail. Oh, my mama done been to jail. I'm going. This was real. This is real life stuff. 7 years old. And what would happen is I would tell these kids the right thing to do. These same kids, I say, you know what? You can be the dentist. You can do all of this stuff. You can go to college, or you can get a good job, and you can have a good life. I would tell them all of that. And then they would go home and talk to their parents. And their parents would tell them that I was wrong. That's what's happening.
Well, okay. Do I agree that some of that happens? Absolutely. I don't know if those parents are intentionally misguiding their children, or like you say, those parents was misguided themselves. They don't know anything else other than what they know, that they raising their children in ignorance, in their own ignorance.
Watch this. I'm about to come with something that's slightly controversial, but everybody can relate to, and everybody got different perspectives on it. So to me, one thing that get under my skin, when I'm at school teaching or I'm being out and I hear these kids cussing each other out, I'm talking about, they could be in Die Hard 3 with Samuel Jackson, doing it like, yeah, they do that. And it really get under my skin. But what some parents would tell you is that, I'm showing them how to express themselves. Some parents would do it because they say, the studies say that people who use curse words are smarter and they don't have this or that. So the point I'm trying to get to is that everybody sense of morality
is different. Very different.
Yeah.
Okay. It starts with the curriculum. Underpaid teachers, hypersensitive rules that prevent natural progression. Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I think to touch on what you're saying about the cursing, and it goes back to, like you said, there's so many different levels of morality, and what we think is wrong is right. Um, what's happening, in my opinion, is children are no longer getting a baseline. Like if you want to cuss when you're grown, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But there used to kind of be this standard baseline. All the kids were getting these sets of, right, wrong, and morals and values. But now, as we're getting less and less complete families,
Mm-hmm.
younger and younger parents, you're getting people who haven't even developed as human beings trying to raise other human beings.
Yes. And they, it's the blind leading the blind.
Right.
And
And these are the results you're getting. And you got these single parent households where the children aren't getting enough attention and enough care because there's only one parent there instead of two. As hard as that parent may be working, to be a good parent is almost an impossible job.
all right, my household. I grew up in a two-parent household. I am a parent in a two-parent household. And there are people that said, well, you know what? I grew up with a single parent. I'm good. I'm all right. But you could have been a whole lot better. A whole lot better off. You missed out on some things. And here's an example. So my son, this dude, and I tell y'all all the time, you probably seen him on the Nerd Show. You hear him speak, and he is beyond brilliant. Like, he's way smarter than me by a long shot. I'm just older and wiser. But I'm at work. He's doing online school at home. And my wife is here working with him to sign him up to go to college. If we had a single parent household, we wouldn't have been able to do that, because the people that hook up the college stuff, guess when they work? The same
Doing it
time
there.
I do.
Yep.
Wouldn't have been able, or it would have been a whole lot more difficult. So you
Well,
miss out on stuff like that.
even this, okay, yes, there are a lot of examples of people who came up in single parent households that turned out all right. What we don't talk about is how hard was it to get to turned out all right.
Yeah, you have to
How many
overcome.
how many close calls? I turned out all right,
Mm-hmm.
but I know I had some close calls. I know I made some mistakes that maybe I wouldn't have made if I was in a household with a mother and a father in the house. Who knows? Uh, just like you said, we live in a society that uses the 1 to 5% of exceptions to disprove the absolutes, and it's 100, and that's correct. Because if you look at all of the matrix, all of the numbers,
Yeah.
they bear out that two-parent households produce far better results than single-parent households.
And you get
Especially,
a,
go
go ahead,
ahead.
man. Also, you get
Especially,
a
you got it, Doc. Go ahead.
also, you get a more well-rounded kid,
Right.
because they have influences from both sides.
Correct.
Because what I've seen with my kids, there is a lot of me within them. They get a lot of things from me, but the things they
Mm-hmm.
get from their mom, it's like the parts of me that I don't have, she has, and she's
Mm-hmm.
imparted that to them, and that's why they're so much better, all both of them. So you miss
Yeah.
that
Absolutely
in it,
correct.
in both
And
extended families.
right. And all of these things go into building a more well-rounded, capable person. So in the case of this young man, what he's saying, she was working all the time and wasn't there, and I had to, I was running the streets because he was looking for 9 times out of 10 somebody to care about him.
Yeah, and you know what? I've had that. I got a little boy that I was teaching. Same thing. Got a couple, two brothers and sisters, and you know, he has emotional problems, and dad is not around. for one reason or another. Now, I said not around, but you know, the first thing people automatically think is that, oh, dad didn't want to be there, or dad didn't want to do this or that. And that's not necessarily the case all the time.
That's not
Sometimes it is,
necessarily.
it's
I,
not.
I'm finding more and more that's not necessarily the case most of the time.
And I mean, I know this is a separate conversation, but they get to the point where they can't afford to fight anymore. They've lost their jobs and did all this stuff, and it's easier to let go so you can live and then reconnect later. But this little boy, now he's getting hooked up with in gang activity in the city, all of this stuff. And I've been working with him since August, and I tried, and he received it, but it wasn't any support or people he would listen to at home. So it creates a scarred young man. And then these young men are scarred. And then we turn around and complain about them when they do things because of that. So, man, let's look at the second part to this video.
Okay.
And this is gonna, let's check it out. So this young lady is right after that one, and she's talking about the same thing. But she's talking about what happens as a result of scarred people.
These millennial Black men are killing their girlfriends and their wives. They have been raised by single Black women. They have adopted these Black women emotions. They don't know how to control their emotions. So what they do is when they find out that they can't control that woman that they're with, they kill her. They don't.
All right. Where you at on that?
Well, I think that's an extreme. I think that's something people bring up, but when you run the numbers on it, it's nowhere near the amount in which you would think it is by the way they talk about it. However, because of the severity of the situation, it does warrant attention.
That's
now,
right.
do I think she has a very good point when she says the emotional mechanisms of women? She's absolutely correct. There are a lot of men that are adult males now that are walking around with the emotional mechanism of women because that's the only thing they've ever seen.
That's right.
Do I think that results in murder most of the time? No. Do I think it results in imbalanced households or poor relationships? Hell yeah.
Yep.
Hell yes, absolutely. This causes problems in the relationships for both him and the women he would attempt to date.
Yeah, and I like what she said, and it reminds me of something I always said of the example about the rhinoceros and the hippo. You know, if you have a baby hippo that's stranded and abandoned by its family, and a pack of rhinoceros find it, they can raise the hippo. They weigh the same, they look about the same from a distance. You know, do all that stuff. When it comes to charging and ramming stuff and doing all that, the hippo can't do it.
Nope.
It can
Don't
try
got
to
no
do
horn.
it. Yep, ain't no horn there, man. That's exactly, and that's what's happening to, and you know, this is a men's channel, so we're gonna just talk about these boys. That's what happened to the boys because they've been trained how to deal with problems in the feminine way,
Right.
and their bodies and minds are not equipped to do it that way, just like the hippopotamus and the rhinoceros.
Well, the difference is if a woman gets mad and loses control of herself physically, the damage she can do is limited. If a young man gets upset and loses control of himself physically, the damage he can do is immense.
Yeah.
It is immense. You want to see a room get destroyed? Let loose a 17, 18-year-old boy in that room and watch him make it look like it was made out of tissue paper.
Yep, he's going to lash out.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you got to know how to deal with these kids.
Right. So they can't have the same emotional reaction that women have because the amount of damage that this boy can do around 15, 16 years old is so far beyond any damage an average woman can do.
That's true. That's true. So, but you get You get that like people who train in a way and stuff they're not equipped for. And
Right.
that's the harsh reality of all this. So now Jamel said that, he think it's accurate. And, why do black men commit crimes at a high rate? Because they had the EQ, emotional intelligence of females.
Correct. He's correct. And they want things, material things, the way females do.
Man, look, I can tell you what I see every day. And these young men, these young boys, they behave like girls used to behave in the 80s. I mean, like they gossiping and doing all this stuff. But conversely, guess who's the most violent ones in the schools?
The girls.
Yes, it ain't the boys. These girls are violent.
Yeah,
very violent.
The girls are far more violent than the boys. Because at the very least, although they teach them emotions from a woman, you'll still see them often say, "Keep your hands to yourself" to young boys. Girls don't get that same lesson. They get told nobody supposed to put their hands on you. Meanwhile, boys get told never put your hands on a woman.
Oh, I'm telling you. I'm gonna tell you how deep this goes because they know that.
Right.
I had a young lady go. I saw her hit this little boy. I'm talking about this, chop him in the back, bam, bam, bam. And then he raised up against her. She run behind me saying, "Oh, he trying to hit me. You're not supposed to hit me." That happens.
Yeah. But she's supposed to be. It's supposed to be okay for him to for her to hit on him like that. And that's just part of some of the issues that we got to work on in society on a larger scale, where the teaching is just off.
That's right. So my question is this: because we talked about the problem, what are some solutions? How can we help our young men and women that is scarred? Or how can we not have, and how can we avoid scarring the generation that's coming now?
Well, I think it starts first of all, in the home. We have to figure out a way for families to continue to grow and exist, and we got to get more families. It's the only way. I think that's the root cause of so many of these issues. We got to figure out a way to get black men and black women to communicate with one another first and foremost. Understand we're on the same damn team, and figure out how we're going to build these relationships and build these households and build these families. And am I a proponent of man, woman, meet, get together, have children, raise the children, get together, get married, have children, raise the children, build a family? Yes, we passed some of that. Some of us not going to have that opportunity. Right. Some of us going to have to go with, I meet you, you meet me, you got some kids, I got some kids. Let's figure this thing out. Let's raise these kids and give them the best shot we can give them. That's right. Some of us going to have to go with, hey, we had kids together, it ain't working. I'm going to raise my son, you raise your daughter. We'll flip-flop and we'll take time. We'll both be active. We're going to have to figure these things out in multiple ways. But the idea of it not being two parents actively in the lives of these children, we got to figure out a way to get by that.
Man, you said a whole mouthful right there. Now Jamel said first we have to demasculinize a vast majority of our women. And I'm going to add to that, unfeminize a lot of our boys and men.
Cut out, Doc. You might cut out.
Well, back. Oh, yeah, I backed up. I said we have to unfeminize a lot of our men and boys and demasculinize a lot of our women. Like it's like everything is reversed.
Well, that's because that's a lack of the family unit. These problems are a result of the family unit. If you eliminate, if you get back to recreating the family unit, and the girls and the boys see men and see women interact in the proper way, they will naturally.
That's right.
They will naturally be feminine women and masculine men. the term toxic masculinity is a problem.
Boy, oh, I'm trying not to use that horn, but I couldn't help it. Man, look, that's a perfect segue into the next part. Oh, man. Boy, you said that thing. All right, y'all check this out, man. This is from our boy, Jason Wilson. I love this dude. Man, we're gonna do his book in our book study. I don't know if we're gonna do it next or right after that. We're gonna figure that out. But Jason Wilson, him right there. Cave of something. I start with A. I can't pronounce it. But this is a short that he made about toxic masculinity. Let's listen to what he had to say. Oh, hold on. I done went past the thing.
There's no
There you
such
go.
thing as toxic masculinity. Let me be clear with that, because if this building was on fire and the firemen came in here full of masculine energy, let's go, we got to get you out of here, we wouldn't say, stop, you guys are toxic. We wouldn't say that. We'd say, thank you for saving my life, right? And so, but you can't have that energy when your mother has dementia and she needs you to be soft and tender. But if you're not used to accessing those emotions, you'll run from it, because what we're told is we don't. There's no such thing as toxic
There
masculinity.
we go. All right. Where you at, man?
I agree. I agree. There is no such thing as toxic masculinity. I think there's good men and there's bad men. And some men use quote unquote their masculinity to do things they shouldn't, and other men use their masculinity to do things they should. Nobody's complaining. Nobody in the Ukraine right now is complaining about toxic masculinity.
Okay.
It ain't a single woman over there right now talking about, oh, these men are too violent. These men, not a one. Every last one of them happy. All them dudes showed up.
Yeah, they want that.
Right. So, is there a time and a place for certain things? Yes. So the idea is not to teach men or boys that masculinity is toxic. The idea is to teach men and boys the proper location and times to be quote unquote masculine, even though you should be masculine at all times, but to use the things that they consider toxic masculinity, violence or force and things like that, and aggression. There's a time and a place. So nobody complained about toxic masculinity when Junior out there on the football field scoring touchdowns.
Oh, of course.
They love it when he out there doing that. Nobody complained about toxic masculinity when somebody throwing when the scholarships are coming out. Anybody complain about toxic masculinity? Nobody complain about toxic masculinity when the checks are being written. Nobody complain about toxic masculinity when the police officers show up because the asshole, the really toxic person is beating on you. You ain't complaining about the masculinity that police officer got when he come in there and pull him off.
Oh no, that's why I always say it's toxic humanity.
Correct.
Toxic humanity, not just limited to men. I mean, it's women that do it that are terrible humans too.
Correct.
Toxic humanity, not the traits. And this connects to Way of the Superior Man. So all these books connect. When you reject who you are, that's when you turn into something else. Now Jamel say, I think effeminate men create toxic masculinity.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. They don't know how to handle their emotions. So they have a female's emotion set and a man's ability to cause damage. And when you put those two things together, you have a problem.
Oh yeah, because I think that what they experience, and like they talking about people that's incels and all of this other stuff, I think some of that goes with what this statement here, and that's shown as toxic masculinity, but it's not a such thing as that. He said real masculine men know there's a time and place for violence, for aggression, for leadership, for discipline. Boy, look at him.
That's the truth.
And that's what he was saying when he was talking about dealing with your mother with dementia. And you can't be like you trying to put out a fire or solve the problem. You got to come at it from a different angle.
Right.
But again, that's not toxic masculinity. That's toxic humanity, man. That causes that stuff. And what's sad is there's a lot of men out there that hate themselves.
Yep.
And they hate themselves because of what society has told them. And this is my own belief, but I think that they hate themselves to the point that they want to be something else.
Yeah.
And that's be women. And that's why it is just a violent circle. I seen little boys like that hate themselves to that point that they so much that they try to be like their mamas.
I don't think it is a hard stretch to imagine a young man in this society who's raised by just his mother. So the be all end all to everything that is good in his life comes from a woman, and all the problems he hears about were produced by men.
Yeah.
So if all the good things are women and all the problems I hear about are thrown onto the men, I don't want to be the problem. So I don't want to be a man.
Everybody want to be good. They want to be good, but when
and
you are
right, and if you're being told women are good and men are bad, and you know you're going to be a man one day, you might not want to be that because I don't want to be bad. I don't want to be a toxic man just because I'm a man.
You're right, man. And then they take those things that we do and call it out as being toxic because you're not being like the feminine. So you say that's where male feminists come from and trans.
Listen, I've said this before, and I'm going to keep saying it. A man does not necessarily have to be right or wrong. All he ever has to do is something a woman doesn't like, and he's a villain. That's all it takes. She just don't have to like it. Oh, now you got toxic masculinity. Now you a narcissist. Now you a misogynist just because you did something she didn't like, whether it was right or wrong.
Remember that? All right, this was like from a year ago. Yeah, we've been doing this a while. One of the first shows we did. Remember that video where the dude was like, "I hate being a man."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that said a lot because of what people say and they think and all of this stuff that happens. I hate being a man.
Yep.
And that's the very thing. The very thing.
And it's unfortunate that we've gotten to this point in society, but if you look at it, you got to look at it. You got to follow the money. It makes sense. Women spend more money than men, so everybody wants to appeal to women.
Yeah,
that's simple.
But it's sad though when you see it, and I think this is where I have a problem with the media that's out there, because it's growing to a point where you can't escape it.
Nope.
And it's in things that our boys naturally like. Like, look at the comic book movies. You can see it where, the female characters are put on a pedestal, but in order to do that, they degrade the male characters. Right. So they're showing you male people that are strong males are dumb, are stupid. Yep. They crack and break. Or they make all the jokes about men because we automatically stupid, or we have, we doing things because we small down there.
Right.
How can you say stuff about people who can't? Believe me, if we could control that, if you could do some sit-ups, bro, I'm telling you, if you could do some sit-ups, everybody will have washboard abs. Everybody. So he says society as a whole caters to women because they're more impulsive with their money. Yep.
Absolutely. The whole single woman phenomenon is about money. Because in a household where men are prevalent, money is spent less wastefully. Period.
That's right.
All the studies say it. So if you can get the men out of the household and you get women making just as much money as men, they're going to spend the same money they make, they're going to give right back.
And I'm telling you how much I know that's true. That's how we got the down payment for our house, selling women's jewelry. Because what they usually do, and my wife knows this and she agrees because she does it, is that they buy little stuff at a time. If you sell something for $1,
they buy it up.
They're going to buy 10 of them of the same thing. But, with us men, we buy big stuff.
Yeah, one time.
Big stuff.
Yeah, we're going to get it one time. We might spend nothing else for 5 years.
Okay, but look at this. Now, Jamel say this. I have to screen kids shows for bad archetypes and morals.
Yeah, you do.
Mm-hmm.
You absolutely do. It's so much stuff. I don't even want my son to watch. I'm glad he's into the things he's into. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he watches this little anime. I go behind and watch those. And, you know, he plays his little video games he's got a very limited group of things that he's into, but it's nothing I've deemed as harmful. And I make sure to impose my will on my children,
Mm-hmm.
specifically my son, because I don't want him to, for society to dictate to him what he should and shouldn't like.
Yeah, and that would be hard if you got kids now. When my
Yes,
kids were about your son's age, you know, about a decade ago, yeah, it was a little bit different. It was some of that stuff in there, but a little bit different. And what I had to do is show them how they were portraying men to be, how they were portraying women to be, and I would lead them to a place where they can make up their own mind about it, where they can see the truth for what it is. Because what I
yeah,
don't want them to do is to go out in the world and have everybody tell them what the truth is, and they get brainwashed by it.
that's right. And 9 times out of 10, if you ask children early,
Mm-hmm.
early enough, they already know what's really right and wrong.
Oh yeah.
And then
So
what happens is they go out and they get brainwashed
mm-hmm.
by society and certain, not even all of society, certain sectors of society, and you know things start to they get confused. Really, mostly they get confused, and then they don't know how to make heads or tails of anything.
Well, but that's when you get in the schools and everywhere else. This links back to toxic masculinity. They would rather have a transcriptor talking to your kid than somebody talking about being a man or doing heroic kind of things in elementary school.
Yep.
Yeah. And Jamel said this, I don't let my kids watch SpongeBob. You know what? When
No,
my kids was
no,
little, they didn't do, we didn't let them watch it either when they was little.
ridiculous.
Not until they
SpongeBob
got
is
a lot older.
ridiculous.
Hmm?
SpongeBob is ridiculous. There's so much stuff in there that I'm the same way, bro.
Oh, we did that. We did that. Hey, Damien said, amen, Lion. My will.
Exactly.
Because it's up to you. You the one that's in charge of them. Because they
Yeah.
gonna call you
Thank
when
you.
that boy do something and go to
Thank
jail.
you. He do
They gonna
something,
call you.
they gonna call me. So don't tell me how to raise him. Don't tell me how to raise him. If you're gonna put the blame on me anyway, don't tell me how to raise him.
That's
Don't
what
tell
I'm saying.
me my son, you know, he too physical, he too rambunctious, he too all of that. And then when I go put him in sports and all that kind of stuff, so he can work all that out. Oh, that's too. Why you working him that hard? Because if I don't, he's gonna be a problem at the school. Don't tell me how to raise him if you're gonna bring me the problem. If you ain't gonna bring me the solution, don't tell me about the solution. Don't tell me about the
No, they're
problem.
gonna bring you a solution. It just ain't gonna line up with what you want for your children.
Exactly.
It ain't gonna line up with that. So now you have to. I guess that's why I tried to arm my kids and let them be deductive reasoners and let them be investigative and taught them how to ask questions and have their own thoughts.
Yeah. You
I had
better.
to, because for the sake of this toxic masculinity thing and the trans thing and all the rainbow stuff and all of that,
Man,
I'm telling you,
I
they
don't
would
even.
have them thinking something like that.
I think the thing that came out this week, I had to go look up because I thought it was a joke the first time I saw it. When they said people they want to cancel Aretha Franklin's song
Yep.
"Natural Woman."
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? How you
Yeah.
gonna cancel a song from 1968?
Mm-hmm.
Talking about it's offensive, man. If you don't get the hell out of my face, that's when I said we've gone too far.
Mm-hmm.
We are completely 100% out of bounds as a society.
Now, Jamel said it was actually a joke, but I tell you what, some of these people ain't joking. You know what? No, you know what I'm gonna say about that? I think that people are not serious enough. People are not serious enough. And by
that's a
that, I
good
mean
point.
this. Everything is a joke. Oh, it's a prank. It's a joke. I'm just saying stuff. But what we don't realize is that our words have a power to it. Things you say has power. You can build somebody up with your words, or you can tear them down. You can affect how people think and their actions just with your words. I think we play too much. We talk too much. We do all of this stuff. I mean, it's insane. Let me look at this. He said, "Yeah, there's a solution to medicate or put them in the system."
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
that's a solution they want to give them.
So he said it was from a spoof account, but you know what's going to happen, and this is why I train my kids how to think, because somebody gonna take that joke or prank, and they gonna say, "Well, that make a lot of sense," and then they gonna start really trying to chase it down. And he said CRCT Florida, critical race theory.
Yeah,
Now we got a whole nother thing about that African American AP Studies thing, which kind of goes into this toxic masculinity thing too. That's a mess, and I'll tell you why it's a mess. Because they're doing the same things that they do with everything else. They match things up with stuff that you can't critique.
right.
For example, one of my favorite ones, or a couple of them, one, Wakanda Forever. They matched that with black people with what the message they were trying to send. You can't critique it because they hide the message behind the black people. So that way you
Yeah,
can't, if you critique the message, you critiquing the black people. And then they're
right.
gonna get backlash. And I know we ain't really political, but the BLM stuff. If you ever went back and read that About Me page when they first had it out,
Oh
when it
man.
was really long,
Oh man.
there was no mention of men. They wanted to dismantle nuclear families, and it was all about trans and
Yep.
LGBTQ. That's
It
when I
is a
first learned what cisgender was from
yep.
reading that.
It is
Um,
a LGBTQ organization. Period.
so that whole AP African American studies, they hid it behind that, but that was all LGBTQ trans. They had that in the curriculum,
Yep.
and that's why DeSantis rejected it. Hey, a broke clock is right twice a day. What I'm saying. What I'm saying, man. But yeah, that's a whole.
You gotta be very careful right now with you got to read those syllabus when they come home
Mm-hmm,
and those curriculums because what they teaching your children in these schools in some places, I'm almost glad I'm in the South.
mm-hmm.
I'm almost glad the state is Georgia's one of the few states that's fairly even, Democrat and
Oh,
Republican.
right.
We got Democratic senators, we got a Republican governor, we got a fairly well, we got it's a lopsided in our House is lopsided Republican, but the areas that are Democratic have Democratic Senate, have Democratic representation, and the areas
Yep.
that are Republican have Republican representation. I'm kind of glad I'm in a state like that has representation from both sides
Mm-hmm.
because it's going to give us, a more even result. But some of these places, man, you start looking at some of the policies and the things they read and the things they're going to allow, and it's like, wow.
Yep. And that connects to this toxic masculinity thing. It really does. It really does, because people think that we have to fight that and go against it. And we have to transform people, and boys can't be boys. Men can't be men. We can't do things
Yeah,
to protect.
that's cool. Yeah, they want to say that until shit happen.
Oh, yeah.
Then everybody looking for the man. Everybody looking for the alpha when something happens.
And then get mad because they can't do it, because they haven't
Right.
been programmed to do it. So now you
Right.
get the protect
I,
part.
I saw I
Protect
saw
us.
I saw some girl in the comments on the post said men just not men like they used to, and you wonder why. Because it was a post about some woman said I love to come home and see my man working on something, and then and then the other girl gonna say, yeah, I wish I could find me one like that, but men just don't men like they used to. No, society don't want men to be men like they used to.
Between that, and I'm gonna tell you the other thing that's causing all this. The more advanced we get with technology, the more of those skills we lose.
Yep,
Think
100%
about it.
correct. Well, when you take the father out of the home, uh, either via working excessive hours to afford how expensive society is now,
Mm.
or just the relationship didn't work, there's nobody teaching anybody those skills anymore in the house. And only people that have any of those skills went to some kind of trade school to get them.
Uh-huh.
So if you didn't decide coming out of high
Oh,
school or
hold on,
college,
y'all. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, if you didn't
Sorry.
decide coming out of high school or college that you would wanted to get some of these skills, you were never gonna have them.
That's true. Man, I know y'all probably heard that, but I had pulled up that video that we talked about before. I want to share that real quick so we can go back to it. So I'm going to try to play it again. There we go. I can pause it. Let me rewind and let me share that screen. Share the window. Oh, I think I can share it where y'all can. Oh, there it is. Entire screen. System audio. Okay. This one. Listen to what this man is saying.
I hate being a man because people judge you for your depression. I hate being a man because I've no one to open up to about my suicidal thoughts. I hate being a man because when I open up about being sexually abused by a woman, people say I got lucky. I hate being a man because I'm sick of being alone with my problems all the time. I hate being a man because no one in this damn world cares about me genuinely.
Yeah, that's an angry brother. I'm not saying his anger is displaced, but that's a lot of anger. And I hope either doing the TikToks and getting it out, or he goes and finds some way to get that out. But I can understand why he feels that way.
And that's what our boys go through.
Yep.
That's what they go through. I hear it. They talk to me sometimes about stuff like this, and they don't know what to do. And everybody telling them to man up, but they don't know what that is. That's why I don't like that term. But that's why I think we have to get away from what society says and teach what's right. Look at that. You can find that brother in most men.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. At some point in time, one or more of those phrases he just made has applied to almost every man I know.
Mm. And that's one of the big reasons why we have this group, trying to provide an outlet and let men know that you're not by yourself. You're not going crazy. You're not. Everything that's happening is happening to all of us at some point.
Yep.
But we can't help one another through it. We just have to secretly do it. And that's the tough part. And again, this all of this relates back to scarred children. Because we scarred them. And you talked about having more families, taking time out with your kids, things like that. That's how we fix the problem. So, man, what, you got anything else on this? You hear me?
Can you hear me? I hear you, but it's very low.
Oh, okay. Oh, I don't know, man. Let me turn my microphone up. All right. A little bit of technical difficulties, but it's all right. I was going to say, if you had anything else to say about the topic, I know we've been going on about an hour now.
I just we got to be involved in the lives of these boys. We gotta help them understand that masculinity is not toxic, and it is okay to be all of who you are. But we got to be there to show them and guide them and how to do that.
I agree. I think what happened, your Bluetooth probably disconnected. That's probably what happened. But you're right, man. We have to teach them. We got to take time to talk to them. And if you have a son that's scarred already, we got to work on fixing that. Take time, talk to them, And this match up with what we talked about last week. You know, with the parenting thing, same thing. Fatherhood. There's no manual for this. But what we're going to do is we're going to keep on working, man. And you got to keep on talking to them. And just beating them down, which I pulled that video up with Malcolm Jamal Warner talking about how you discipline young black boys. And he said that the solution wasn't to beat them all the time and beat them down. But the solution was to love them so much that disappointing you would be worse than any beating you can give them.
Yep.
And I would say what that implies is that you have to do the work with him before he do something bad.
That's what it is. You got to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I hope we said something that people can find useful.
Yeah. Toxicity became toxic when it's not guided by the father. The father knows how to aim it.
Yep. 100%. You know, because we got to take the time to spend that time. We got to reestablish the family units so that the children have equal influence from all sides. Because it's getting out of hand at this point. And if we don't do something soon, you know, it's going to be irreversible.
Yeah, it's a long road to hope. That's what the old folks say.
Yep. But other than that, Doc, you want anything you want to close out on, brother?
Man, I mean, this has been a good show. It ain't much more that can be said about this topic, man. All I'm gonna say is that talk to your kids, talk to anybody, kids, and the way to teach them is to show them. I've had so many kids that just because I treat them with respect that's due to any man or human, they respect me. They tell me, oh, you're the only one that respect me. You're the only one that talk to me. You know what? A boy mistakenly stepped on my shoe the other day. And he said, I'm sorry, Doc. And he went and brushed my shoes off. I said, man, you ain't got to do that. These just shoes. He said, I know. But when you do it to me, you know what happened? That's what I do to him. I exaggerate it. Hey, I'm sorry. So let me get that for you. And they see me doing it, so they do it back to me.
Right.
That's how you do it. We got to teach them and show them and work with them. It takes time. So, and don't think just this punching them in the chest and rocking their chest going to solve the problem.
Nope.
All you're going to do is create another scar. And you know what happened with scar tissue? It keep building up to protect itself, protect the body. And they don't feel it anymore. It does nothing. So stop raising some dummies. Help. And we even got to do this for our older people too.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
There's men out there that never had it before, but we can do it to them. So that's all I got to say, man. You know, try to help the people around you, help them. We got to make the world a better place. That's our thing for this year. We're going to make it a better place.
That's it. So thank y'all for joining us. We appreciate the comments. Please like, share, subscribe. It's Jay Sims the Lion, Doc, Saturday Conversation. We love you. We out.
Peace.